You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies.
This is AFTERBUZZ TV's True Detective After Show.
We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show.
It's AFTERBUZZ TV's True Detective After Show.
What happened? No.
There it is.
Oh,
There's your T-Bone.
sing it.
It's not T-Bone, we're dead.
I know, but he arranged it. We know.
Handsome
Well,
family.
I don't even think he doesn't matter. Welcome. We won't go.
We're not going in circles again.
Yes, welcome to the AFTERBUZZ After Show, True Detective After Show. That is, we are finally arrived at episode 6, Haunted Houses. No.
You're so scary.
No. Okay. Haunted Houses, episode 6 of True Detective. Another Cracker Jack episode. Right, Joe?
I'll back you on Cracker Jack. Yes.
Right.
Yes. You need validation for that?
I do.
Cracker Jack.
Do the young people in the audience know what Cracker Jack episode
No, I
is?
don't think they do.
Okay.
Joined as always, I'm Joe Braswell. Thanks for joining us here for episode 6. I'm joined as always by the lovely Joe Sanfelippo.
Nice to see you guys.
And to his right, the lovely Julia Cearley.
Me. Hi, everybody.
And to her right, the lovely Nando Velasquez.
That's me. Hi, everybody. Hi.
All right.
And
Shut it.
this is the loveliest crew in this room right now.
It is
For those of you not familiar, we are lovely.
in the room. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Thanks for joining us on iTunes. Thanks for downloading us. If you've downloaded us and you're listening to us right now, we've got lots to talk about. True Detective, episode 6.
Boom.
We finally, at the end of this episode, got out of 2002. So I
Yes.
think that we've gonna everything we see from now on is gonna be good new stuff from 2012.
As opposed to good
2012.
old stuff.
As opposed to good old stuff from 2002.
Now it's good new stuff.
Or good older stuff from 1995.
Yes.
Well, we have stuff that will be happening in real time, in
Right.
their real time.
Unless
Instead
there's
of flashbacks.
unless there's some flashbacks. There
Well, of
might be
course there
some
will
still
some.
flashbacks.
Right. I don't know.
To explain Cohle. To
they're
explain
not.
what Cole's been doing.
Sure.
As he probably tells Marty what he's been up to.
Well, let's get this episode. Because there's a lot happening in this episode. I kind of want to go through linearly and talk about some stuff here because we have pretty much all the resolution we need from 2012 and 2002. All of our questions seems to be answered as relates to what's happening with Cohle and Hart. Not necessarily what's happening with the case, not necessarily what's happening, with the mystery, but we do know all this sort of double talk back and forth from 95 to 2002 to 2012. We have all the answers, right? Mm-hmm. Or do we not?
I think so.
I think we do.
For the most part.
Still a few little things.
Well, the first thing we open with is we do see the resolution to to what happened to those little boys who unfortunately were unfortunate enough to pick the wrong dad, the wrong dad's
The wrong
gal.
girl. The wrong girl's father.
That was a great, scary scene, Joe Filippo.
For those of you who have children, I'm sure Mr. Braswell can attest to it, specifically daughters.
Yes.
That scene made a lot of sense.
It made a lot of sense.
I felt nothing but good job.
Yes,
You were
I did.
standing up cheering, weren't you?
Oh, it was beautiful. He looked like the ever-loving monkey fucking wrath of God.
Yes.
Came into that, when he came into that cell after he beat the hell out of the blonde kid, and he's staring at that poor kid in the corner, and I'm like, you know what? But it's going to be quick, and it's going to be over, but it's going to suck.
Sometimes you just got to catch, we as black folks, sometimes you got to catch that fade. Sometimes you got to catch a beat down. Every now and then you just got to catch a beat down. And both those boys knew they didn't want it. And Hart was like, come on.
Here we go.
It's
Get
either
up.
here
Now
or
or
I send you to
never.
prison. You get it in prison.
That's it.
Yeah.
I love that line. You tell me how I feel? That's awfully patronizing. I was like, oh,
It was all
no.
that. But he was slow and deliberate. He got in the room, he's talking, he takes off the wedding ring, like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
That is all slow.
That was the class ring. That was
the class ring,
That's
yeah.
the one that's going to break his finger. The wedding ring is relatively flush.
That's right. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, what's,
Yeah.
what's this? The cell's open.
Oh no! Clearly, y'all are trying to escape. It's very sad. But he said there at the end that I thought was great. He said, the man's game charges the man's price.
Love it.
And then afterwards, when he's out in the car, he's puking.
Well, this is the question: is he puking because he is? We want to believe that look, Hart's a really good guy. He hated to beat the shit out of a couple of teenagers, or is he puking about thinking what happened to his daughter? Like, what? How did you read that, Nando?
I kind of felt it was the former. I felt that was an extreme emotion that just came through him to do that. It took a lot of guts, and it was a big risk. I mean, I'm sure the other cops in the police office in the station would probably vouch for it. That's the kind of thing I think that they would. And like you said, just like you guys understand it, I'm sure there are a lot of fathers in that station that are like, yeah,
sure,
but it still takes a lot. I know if it was me, I think I would. There'd be some kind of remorse afterwards, like what have I become, and how could I have not stopped this from even happening? Because he knows, I think he knows in his heart that his daughter's to blame. That the daughter's, yeah, I guess so. I guess I did say Hart. But I guess he also knows that his daughter's partially to blame for this.
Well, yeah, you can't. Oh, go ahead, please.
No, please.
Well, you can't take her out of the equation. I mean, it's not like the guys held her down. She was in the car. She got in the car. She was at
willing.
So I mean, that's the thing. But yeah, and I agree with you that he definitely. I don't think he was puking because of thinking about her. I think he was puking that he just beat the hell out of these two kids.
Well, this is a guy who reacts emotionally. We saw when he slapped his daughter when he found out what was happening. We saw how he reacted to Lisa with the other guy. When things happen to the girls in his life, he reacts emotionally and quickly. So this is something that he really sat out and thought about and made a deliberate decision to have this reaction.
Very
I
true.
thought that was interesting.
And I think there's also a little bit of himself in there too. He's beating up these kids. It's almost like he's beating up himself because look, he hasn't really been the most
Yeah,
perfect person.
And let's be real, he's I want to talk about it later on, but Beth, Beth that's his daughter.
Example.
Like, I mean, that's the same exact archetype.
Yeah. So
Only hotter.
I didn't know T-Mobile hired girls that hot. I had no idea. I'd switch carriers if I knew.
This episode brought to you by.
I know what Lily Simmons from Banshee is not ugly.
No, there's nothing wrong with her physically.
Wow.
And you looked. I know you checked.
Anyway, next. I'm sorry. So yeah, but I like to give them a choice. He did give him a choice. He's like, look, man, you can catch this beat down, or you can go upstate. We can do it my way or your way.
Well, I think anyone would have chosen.
Yeah,
you kick my ass now. I'd rather. Yeah.
I think the blonde kid got the better of the two. Because he went out and got it first. The other kid had to sit there and anticipate.
I'm like, I kind of want to go first.
Yeah.
Because the other guy's gonna wait. And he's like, he sees it. And he's like, oh no, I don't want that. The gloves.
When he put the gloves on, I was like, "Oh no!
Yeah,
there might be some exams going on."
So that happened, but anyway, that was a lot. That seemed to a lot about Hart, and then we did get some resolution as to how he handled that situation. So, and then the next thing we see is we cut to, aside from the detectives continuing with their interrogation, we cut to the scene, another sort of visit. We see Cohle really working this case on his own.
Yeah,
and he goes to visit. The guy
Terry Gilroy,
Terry Gilroy, which is a very, very, very small but great scene there.
What a great act. He was terrific, man.
Right.
Oh, did I didn't take the actor's name down, which is a terrible thing for me to have not done, but he took that scene, he annihilated that. That was beautifully done.
He did. What did we learn there, Julia?
God, what did we learn there? We learned there that he was the parent of a Wellspring student, which is
a Tuttle school.
Yeah, it's a Tuttle school.
Queen of Angels.
Right.
Yeah. So and sorry, I'm getting a note over there.
Sorry.
She distracted me. Go on. Go ahead without me.
No, yeah. So we're beginning to see the picture here with these Tuttle schools, right?
Yes.
We're beginning to see if you're a kid and you're involved in a Tuttle school, something bad is probably happening to you or around you. And so what is the connection here? And these kids that have gone missing, these kids that are trouble, these kids that are, all these things are somehow connected to this school.
Well, the Wellspring deal, let's remind everybody about that. The Wellspring is these religious education schools in the rural areas instead of going to a normal school getting bussed around. So the deal is that the state's going to reimburse the people who own these schools, and so you're going to teach this Tuttle curriculum, which is a religious-based, it's a Bible-based curriculum. And so basically these are private schools set up, and the state is paying for it. So it sounds to me like a shady scheme that some people are going to make a ton of money on. But obviously it went a little more sinister than that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't,
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. It sounds like these kids maybe they were getting an education, but it was almost like they were being processed or scoped out for something else.
Yeah.
By some mysterious, whether it's Tuttle or someone else within the organization.
I think we know who it is.
I think we know who it is.
I mean, I think
We're
it's
just
no
leaving it
secret
open.
as to what's happening.
Yeah.
But what is yet to be revealed, which I don't really want to know, is the level of horror that's taking place here. Because what we do know is it's enough to leave people, the poor girl in the institution, what she saw, my man who's drinking,
Joel Troy.
Troy. Yeah,
he was great.
He's always great.
Well, that was a great scene because it gave so much information about what we were just talking about Wellspring.
Yes.
Right, that's a little other thing, but yeah, let's jump to that scene because that was great. Cause we're talking still about this kind of Cohle working on this case, and he does visit Joel, and another brilliant scene, right? He has, he's drinking, he's doing his thing, and I love how McConaughey sort of takes the drink from him, and then he goes, "I saw these pictures," and he's like, "Oh shit, here, you might need this more than I do." I love that.
Rough, man.
Well, I think it was a great call. I mean, he was drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, this man, something has troubled him.
Right.
And his own fall from grace, somewhat. So,
I really love. I love when preachers are characterized as having that crisis of faith, and when they fall apart. I think it's interesting because there's so much need put on them. There's by the entire congregation. Like, we need you to believe 100% so that we can believe 80%, 60%, you pick a number. But we need you to be 100% committed. That's got to be a tremendous amount of pressure, especially in a rural area, and especially having seen what he saw. I mean, and how'd he put it? He goes, he got 2 of his tents got vandalized, and then he's lost heart, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of these things where, you're beginning to get this picture painted of these individuals, men, women, most of these men who started out a certain way in 1995, and as they get greater proximity to this case or in and around the case, they become broken. So whatever's happening with anything involving this case or the Tuttles, they're going a little mad. I think we're seeing
going a little mad.
Well,
Like the Yellow King.
like the Yellow King.
No, wait,
Which was an interesting thing, real fast. The cup he was drinking out of, that Thoreau was drinking out of, was a John Deere cup with a yellow stag on it. There's been a little buzz about that. So we get the Yellow King and we get the stag with the antlers, which is how we found the girl.
Buzz.
Just throwing that out there, guys.
Let me toss a caveat in this whole everybody's getting broken that has knowledge of it. Except for Marty. Marty's driving a Cadillac. He's got a very nice suit on. He looks pressed. He looks prepped. He looks ready to go. And at that last scene of the show, the last shot, you got Rust shows up in that beat to shit Ford.
Yeah.
With such a great shot where they mounted the camera on the back, so you got the
With the broken taillight. That's
tail light.
Broken tail light. And you can see
Fight.
Rust in the rearview mirror.
and you got the feel of how that Ford drove because you felt that truck vibe. You just felt it. It was brilliant. But everybody's jacked up except for Marty.
I heard Carrie Fukunaga's a genius.
Well, hold on. I mean, there's a point to be made. I swear. So it's just one of the things that Cohle said in the office there. You're all. He was yelling about how everybody here has got their head up their ass. Everybody here has got their eyes closed. I'm the only one who's awake, basically, is what he's saying, And so the people who actually are awake, who actually know, they're broken. The people who are choosing, like Marty has been, to like kind of close their eyes and not see all of it and do what they're supposed to do, they're doing okay at the end.
Right.
And it's interesting. I think that's kind of like I don't know. I love Nick Pizzolatto because everything he does is for a reason. There's nothing by accident, so you can read into everything, and it's probably true. It's probably something to read into.
Well, we don't know if he's doing okay. We really don't. We've only seen him
How about outwardly?
in
How about
this
outwardly?
interview.
Well, I could also submit that, just to sort of throw that back at you, also submit that, like, this case hasn't really touched him in the same way that it has everyone else. In other words, he's still like the small contact he had with that situation when he opened that trailer and saw whatever he saw in there, and he went off and he just executed Ledoux. Like, that effed him up. Like, these guys are broken, and I can make the argument that he is broken because in the process, he is dead. He's got his beautiful family, but he's going off to go get his things on the side because he can't deal with the fact that his job's so crazy. He saw what he saw, and now it's like it's a steady. This last 17 years has been all about trying to forget that moment. To me,
he's a man who compartmentalizes everything.
Right.
He keeps everything separate in their own separate little worlds, which is sort of like a testament to the whole theme of this episode, a haunted house, what you're haunted with. So I think at any minute it's gonna break, and I think we got a little glimpse of that actually with the walls breaking down and what's haunting him really coming out.
Right.
And becoming visible.
Oh, and speaking of haunted, let's jump back to we finally get to the 2012 version of Maggie, looking. Wait.
Yeah, 2002.
Yes.
Yeah,
2012.
12 interview.
Yeah. Looking fantastic, and but also looking very. And she's the moment I saw her, I was happy to see her, and she was very short with those guys, saying they're kind of being cute, and she's like, look, it's been in another life, it's been a long time navigating cruel men who think they're clever.
Love that line.
I used to exhaust myself navigating crude men who thought that was so good.
It's like enough. Get to the cut to the chase.
No
guys.
bullshit, kid. I don't care.
But which is great because she sort of has that sort of world-worn, been there, done that, seen it all. Look, and you get the sense that whatever she's going to say is not, whatever she's going to hear is probably not going to faze her. But at the same time, immediately I was like, first of all, I knew that she's someone who I absolutely trust. But the moment she talked, I asked myself, wait, is she an unreliable narrator? And we find out she was.
She is an unreliable. And also it's nice that it's interesting that we now have a third perspective for the first time.
Right.
Everything we've seen has just been through Rust and Cole's eyes. I mean, we've seen what they're telling the detectives, and then we see what really happened.
Sure.
And we're getting the same thing from Maggie, and it's nice to have a little bit of context to her.
Yes.
We've had nothing.
Yes.
The only thing we've ever seen is just her in the kitchen and her fighting with Hart, but we've never seen her on her own, and we get to see her on her own for the first time at that bar. And maybe we're seeing things through her eyes the second she started narrating, because it was interesting, that scene right after she discovers that the pictures on his phone,
the T-Mobile phone.
Now I believe we're seeing things through her eyes, through her narration, and she's sitting there watching Hart, who we've never seen him in that fashion before. He was very piggish, sitting there eating his spaghetti, and I feel like that's how we were seeing him through her eyes for the first time, which was an interesting sort of flip.
Right, which is great about this, this sort of the storytelling device, right, of being able to have, not only you have, the 3 times as we talked about, but you have these multiple narrators, so these multiple points of view. Now we know we've pretty much established that what we're seeing on the screen is the real story, and then what we're hearing from the people is, maybe they're unreliable, they're telling their different versions of it. But I do like when you do get to see their versions of it. I do agree. I think you're seeing, it through their eyes. And frankly, Hart wasn't that sexy.
Well, it's interesting.
It for me.
It's interesting. I didn't write down the exact words, but when she was talking about Hart and Cohle in the beginning, at least she said something about at least
Russ knew exactly who he was. There was no talking him out of it. Marty never really knew himself, so he never knew what to want.
And she kind of forgave him for that.
Yeah,
the way she was saying it, she kind of, someone's got to take medicine. So yeah.
Sorry,
it's okay. But yeah, so she seemed to actually forgive Hart in that moment. She said, well, he didn't know what he wanted, almost as if like a small child or something. Like the way she forgave him, it just seemed like he was beneath her.
Well, it's the way that she washed her hands of him too.
Yeah, she's done.
Yeah,
it's just done. I don't think that she's lamenting their marriage anymore at that point.
Right.
It's just very matter of fact. She's no nonsense. She's the one with the most common sense of anyone we've seen on this show.
But that line, just given at the very beginning, before she really gets into the story, her side of the story, just says so much on how she's going to color this picture.
Oh yeah.
And if you really look at it and just look at, I guess it just felt like there was something about Cohle that she still, I don't know if it's regret or what.
No, respect. She said it. Respect. Like this guy's an honorable dude. Like,
But she knows she messed him up because she realizes.
What's interesting is that we've seen what caused the dissension between these two partners and what was the catalyst for the end of the marriage. Yet we see Maggie and Hart in these 2012 interviews speaking very highly of Cohle still.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day,
something.
Well, but at the end of the day, I mean, look, Cohle, you can say what you want about Cohle, but he is a straight shooter coming from the right place. He was everything that they said he was. I mean, he's brilliant. He's honest. He's smart. He's direct. He's noble. He's all those things. So it's kind of hard to be like, say anything other than those things about him.
And I
But
believe
he
she
also
said,
effed your wife, so you can
Right.
you can still have something.
Yeah.
Well, or she effed
less
him.
than glowing to say.
or she effed him, really.
Yeah.
That was a great scene. We'll be there in a
We'll
second.
get to
That was a
We'll get
great
to that,
scene,
but
though.
I think you can also make the argument that I think that this speaks to a lot of what I think Marty Hart's whole deal is. It's this sort of like, all the time Marty knows that he's effed up, right? He knows he's screwed up. Every single time he does something, it's almost like, I know. When Hart's like, you did that. He's like, yeah, so I get the sense that, like, I mean, I don't want to say that it was okay for for Cohle to screw his wife, but 12 years later, I think he kind of was like, all right. 10 years later,
I deserved it.
I know what happened.
Yeah.
We fought in the street, and shit was effed up, and I get it now.
I get why I got, I was in trouble. And
Yeah.
That's
I
a
should've-
dude thing instead of a chick thing, because a chick will hold a grudge till the day she dies.
Guys
Yeah,
will
they
kick
will.
each other's
The
butt ass.
dudes will kick each other's asses and then move
Well, that's
on.
the thing is he
Yeah.
had to get enough. He had to get enough in that fight for him to walk away feeling like he was okay.
Right.
Like that.
And Cohle gave that to
He
him.
did. He gave it to him, and that's
Right.
that was the thing about that fight. He gave it to him. Yeah.
As opposed to earlier when he was kicking the shit out of two guys and
Yeah.
they
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
really fight back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back just for a minute back to the case. We're just jumping back and forth as to what.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the case. So then we have, we see that so Cole's really trying to, he keeps taking us to the to his bosses. This is what's happening, and no one really wants to hear it. As always, no one wants to reopen any old ghosts. Reopen these haunted houses, but he's still working on it. So he has that horrifying interrogation with the
Medea, the marshland Medea.
Yeah.
You guys, familiar with the Medea
I thought we were
story?
talking about Kelly.
Break it
Yes.
down. Break it down.
Well, that she was married to Jason. I think the Greek hero. She's the son of the daughter of I don't remember. Is it
Sisyphus?
Not Sisyphus. He's a god.
Okay.
He was a.
I thought you were gonna break it
titan.
down.
But yeah, I was gonna break it down.
Like, what's
But
happening?
anyway, so here's Medea's deal. She kills Jason, leaves her because the king of I don't remember some other place that's cool offers him a daughter, and so he ditches Medea and his two kids with her to marry this to upgrade essentially.
Sure.
And so in revenge, Medea kills her two children with Jason. So that's the Medea.
The marshland Medea.
But the marshland Medea obviously has some SIDS going with 3 kids.
I didn't realize Tyler Perry was so deep.
All right. Medea.
Never mind. I couldn't help it. Sorry.
I think that's probably the longest it's taken me to get a reference.
Anyway. So he does it. He does interrogation, and it's this thing where he's like, "Look, basically, I need to know what you know before you bullshit me." And and there's no better box man, no better man in the box than our man Russ Cohle. But like he says, before you bullshit me, I need you to know that I know that you unplugged the monitor here. We know what you do.
38
to
minutes,
your
and when
kids.
I unplugged it back in, she was gone. That was the deal.
So you need to start talking to me. And that's not the thing that necessarily got him upset, but whatever she told him, all those, whatever she started talking to him about and telling what was going on, the specifics and ins and outs, that had a giant effect on him. And this is part of the disintegration of Russ' faith in humanity. It's like that we just keep seeing episode after episode. We see this guy who is kind of already on the edge of like, I don't know. This is this big sprinting marble. It's one big gutter in the sky. We start to see every episode why he's beginning to feel like that, because everywhere he goes, he's his faith in humanity is shattered, and he's with this woman who obviously tells him some horrifying things that we don't get to hear, and he tells her what, Joe?
If you have the opportunity, you should kill yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's real rough on you. They're gonna be real rough on you in prison.
It's
and,
chilling.
Chilling, exactly.
And
That's
if
what I
you
wrote
get the
down.
opportunity, you should kill yourself.
Right. Is that a McConaughey?
That was half of a McConaughey.
Oh.
Did it feel good? The word?
The McConaughey?
The McConaughey.
McConaughey?
It was a McConaughey.
McConaughey, maybe. Not so sure. No, but it's that, because in that moment, like I thought it was one of those kind of sort of TV moments that you get, or movie moments, when it's like you kind of leave it for the audience. He's like, you know what? It's pretty bad in jail for you, and the newspapers are going to get bad, so I don't know. And he closes the door, but he says, so you should kill yourself. And I was like, oh,
It was
he said it.
I'm literally yelling at my TV. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like that was, but you know what? Yeah. But it's to me that whole scene was so telling because it's, you know, I think for him he's like a guy outside of society. Like I feel very much like he is in some ways that fourth dimensional guy. Like he's looking at the things people are doing. I don't think he's not involved. He doesn't have the kids. He doesn't have the family. He's kind of living in a 1-bedroom shack. He's doing none of it. He's doing none of the society stuff. So when he's out of it, I feel like he can kind of get what he wants from people because he's not of the people. And so when Marty effed up the interrogation. He said, "Well, haven't you ever heard of birth control?" And you know, and Russ like, get out, please. Just let me finish this. And it was, I think it was a combination of like, okay, this guy, and that was, I think, informed their fight afterwards. Like, this guy, he's never going to get it. He's never going to be able to do. So type the goddamn thing. Like, that's your role here, because you can't do what I can do. You can't get what these people. You can't get them to give you what they need to give.
I think you have to take a look at the way that Cohle treats women. We all see the way Hart treats women, or at least it's a little messed up, you know, his morals, as we see even in this episode. But we also have to pay attention, I think, and this has to do a lot with the fall from Cohle in this episode, the way he treats women. Because really, he's never interrogated a woman like this. The only time we've seen him in scenes with women have been the prostitutes, but he still seems to treat them a lot better than what his philosophy is, which is everybody is guilty of something. He's always seemed to come about it when he's interrogating men or talking to men in that way. But this is the first time we see him really going deep like this with a woman. And it's not the first time that he has, in this episode, that he has a scene with a woman where there's a fall from grace. Well, so I think there's a lot.
Well, that's sort of a testament again to the overarching theme of this episode, which is, you know, haunted houses. He's haunted by women that aren't even there. He's haunted by his ex-wife. He's haunted by his dead daughter. Yeah,
and he feels guilt for that for himself, though. They're not guilty of anything. He feels guilt for that.
And we see that Marty's also haunted by women. You know, but the women who are right in front of him that he can't control because he can't control himself either. Yeah.
Very true, we also see, you know, this is the sort of the fall of Hart, as we talked about, but we finally get to see what happened to this guy in 2002. What happened to him. So we know he's mortified by what he's learning. He has a visit to the preacher. You mean
Cohle, though. You said Hart.
Cohle.
You said Hart.
Thank you, Cohle. Thank you very much. He finally has a visit to my man, the
Tuttle.
And Tuttle, yeah.
And he's exactly where you expect him to be.
Tuttle of the neon effing cross.
Yes.
I just think that is such a beautiful little piece. Whoever designed that set needs a freaking round of applause all day, every day. You got a neon goddamn cross. That is so beautiful. So you're saying so much with that. That is awesome.
I mean, does anyone here think that Tuttle is not the most evil guy ever? I mean, like, just a smile.
Well, we felt that from his first appearance, that there was something up with this guy and doing the whole anti-Christian task force.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's especially because of what it represents against Cohle.
Right.
So I think we all saw it.
So we see that, and then the last thing we see, one of the second to last piece we see, is the visit to the asylum when he talks to the girl.
To Kelly.
Yes.
To Kelly. Like,
talk about haunted.
Yeah, well, tell me, just give me your presence on that.
I thought that scene was kind of terrifying, actually, and
almost like horror genre terrifying.
A little bit.
It felt like The Ring or something. It felt like The Conjuring. Something it was really
when she whipped her eyes at him.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit! Whatever she's gonna say, it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Julia.
Anyway, that was just, it was such a short scene, but really impactful, and it seemed to be really impactful on Cole's character as well. I don't know if it was reminiscent of the haunting of his daughter and seeing, I mean, this is a girl that he saved.
Right.
In essence, he saved her, but really saved her for what? For this sort of life? This is atrocious.
But
she's catatonic. She's in this crazy world. But he got to her, she spoke to him, and now we know that there's a man with scars who made her watch things.
A giant.
A giant. Well, it goes back to these unseen horrors that everyone has now seen, but the audience, thank God, that are so horrifying that it is breaking everyone you see in its wake down to nothing.
Yellow King.
And it's Yellow King. It's scaring the crap out of me.
Yellow King.
You saw the previews for next week where Marty's watching, and oh God.
Yeah.
God,
what does he say now? I don't want to know what he's saying.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box?
So let's jump back into the last thing the last part of the story that we finally get some resolution on is, which is what happened to Marty and Cohle, and what happened to Maggie and Hart. and we know both. It started with good old Hart got a visit from Miss T-Mobile. And let's just say that
Beth, bringing it back to episode 2 where we first met her in the shacky, shabby bunny ranch.
Trailer park bunny ranch.
She looks great in a polo too.
Yes.
She can rock a polo better than you rocking that polo right now, Flippo.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's true. There's no question about it.
Right. So I don't.
No question.
So obviously we have to recount that, but some stuff happened. Hart did his thing. She keeps calling. She wants Hart to do certain things to her.
She does. There's a.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question though. Now this is interesting because that scene was well put together. Like there's so much going on. Like you go out and you got to get a new phone, and that's a crazy hot chick. Oh, I rescued you. Oh wow. Oh yeah, I haven't been feeling very heroic lately. You're the hero. The people love you. You're such an amazing guy. And
he's out buying tampons for.
He's emasculated.
He's emasculated. That's the whole thing.
Yes.
You've got. How many periods are going on? He's got 9 boxes of tampons. That was no joke.
He's got 3 women.
3 women, and those of you who don't know, they when ladies live together. My understanding is the cycles.
Okay, let's move on.
He's also emasculated.
I got 3 at home too.
He's also emasculated in the workplace. He's part of the star team, but really the star is Cohle, and then he's a glorified secretary.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll type it up.
Right.
You did the work. I'll get the credit. But so he's emasculated everywhere he goes.
You're hitting on the point. This is kind of why I'm not justifying Hart, but this is why Hart does what he does. He goes home, he gets at the work, he's blah blah blah. He's walking around, and then he sees Miss Polo Shirt, and there he is.
And that was a victory for him.
It was.
Yes.
He told her in '95, "Get out of here. This is not for you. You can do better. Here's $20." I think is what he gave her, whatever it was.
I love the down payment line that we were revisiting from episode 2.
And she tells him at the bar, "There's nothing wrong with the way he made us. Nothing wrong with the way God made us. Whatever you're feeling about, you want to do me. That makes a lot of sense."
God gave us these flaws. He doesn't see them as flaws.
That's right.
And then she said, "The universe forgives all." And the next thing you know, they're in bed.
No doubt.
Right.
Yeah.
And
the universe forgives all. So, if the universe forgives all, let me just sleep with you.
When Marty falls off the wagon, Marty falls off the wagon.
Yeah.
He's going to bring some burrs. He's going to do some chiskas. Deep.
That's what I said when you said it's a victory for Marty, but we all got to see Lily Simmons naked, so it's a victory for all of us.
And then that little devil like
involved.
bobblehead thing at the end of the scene that he looks up and he sees this little devil looking down.
So let's get to the consequences. She finds a cell phone. She decides
Damn
in that
technology
moment
has evolved so much.
She decides in that moment she's going to take this into her own hands. She tries to go to the bar and make that move. Decides that that's something that we know that she cannot do. So what does she do, Julia?
She lives out my fantasy.
Oh.
I love him.
He's the pull-up champion of Boone County, Arkansas.
I'm well aware.
Lily Simmons isn't the only one making people happy in this episode.
That's absolutely. There's a little something for everyone.
Yes.
A little something for everyone. So she goes to Cohle. She knows where. She gets super manipulative, like mighty puppet master, and she goes to Cohle because she knows that's going to finalize everything. Yes, it will hurt Marty the most, but also there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
She left him once before. That didn't stick.
Right.
This is going to stick, and it's going to sting.
Right.
But something you touched on, and I think in our last discussion about True Detective, was how once Marty feels that his women have been defiled, tainted, he wants nothing to do with them. It's sort of, he has like this virgin whore complex.
That's it. He's a Madonna or the whore. That is his deal. Either I put you on a pedestal, you're my wife or my daughters, you're my family. It's my responsibility to protect you. Your virtue is sacrosanct, or you're a whore. And that is it for him. And I think that, and so it's interesting when his wife is going to go, when we have Maggie going to go and get some, she orders the exact same drink that Beth orders in the bar with Cohle.
Only she's
vodka
trying
martini.
a little bit harder because she gets hers extra dirty.
Extra dirty.
Yeah, baby, extra dirty.
I thought that was interesting.
She just seems a little bit less in her element.
That's a pretty clear seduction move. I'll have a vodka martini, extra dirty.
I thought poor Bruce. I thought like the guy's name on the bar was Bruce. I thought, poor Bruce is gonna get the shit beat out of him when this is done.
Yeah, but
that scene,
didn't go down that way.
Bruce didn't even get laid. Poor
house,
Bruce.
That scene in Cole's house was so heart-wrenching also for
Across the board.
McConaughey.
Yeah.
For both involved, but just his realization after what he had just done and what it means and why that just happened just like ruined me.
Well, on both sides, on Maggie's side, like I said, what Cohle has said before is that everybody's guilty of something, but I don't think he really saw women that way. So all of a sudden, she pretty much has been the most innocent person up to this point.
Yeah.
In his life. You know, he's always treated her with respect to the point where Hart got jealous, and he's always kind of used her as a confidant. And here she comes, and she uses him. She F's him. He does not F her. She F's him. And then she
in more ways than one.
In more ways than one. Then she pretty much says, I didn't think I could do it. I'm glad I did. Now he can't come back. Now I just use you to get rid of my husband because I couldn't do it myself.
I gotta say,
Awful.
And he was mad about that.
he was pissed.
And this is his fall from grace. And we said it before. What made this man look the way he does in 2012? What we figured, he lost hope for some kind of reason. And who would have thought that it was because of Maggie?
And you know,
it's a cumulative thing.
It's a cumulative, but Maggie was the straw that broke.
I think you're right. I
Right.
think there's a lot to that. I think that you can always look at humanity and go, okay, well, everybody's screwed up, but this person's doing it right. She's married to a tool, but she is awesome. I really like what she's doing. And then when she comes and flips you like that, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
That'll probably push you over the edge. And kudos to the acting, man. That scene worked, and that scene on paper could be a mess.
Yeah,
like,
she seduced him. She corrupted him.
and really, they got him at just the right place. He was
And
just
used him
drunk
like
and
a
manic.
tampon.
Oh, so well done.
And used him-
Such a good scene.
By the way, another tampon. When the chief called Hart a human tampon,
tampon.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome too.
More
I wanted to mention
tampons.
that. More
So
tampons.
but it didn't end there in terms of the way she let. I mean, she knew what she did, but she got to be able to sit, Hart down and say, "Have a seat, pal. I got something to tell you. I know about your little photo, and I did some stuff too. It was hard. It was Cohle. And you know what else? It's the best. It's best."
I've had since the kids.
Since the kids. Before the kids.
Hold on, I haven't been fucked like that since the kids.
Oh,
yeah.
thanks, Joe. I was trying to leave a little bit from the imagination.
Why?
Go ahead.
This is an HBO show. It's rated R. If you watch the show, you can
heard the
probably
last
listen to the podcast.
So that doesn't feel too good to hear that as a man. No one wants to hear that.
No, you might choke your wife for a second.
But but she calls him out as she does every episode. It's like every other episode, she has some sort of like, "You used to not be such a chicken shit. You used to not be this. This is the best I've had since this. You're not a man." And so she kind of got the final nail in the coffin was, "I haven't been F like this since before the kids." And it was by your partner.
And he called her a
Scoreboard.
whore, and she called him a coward.
Yeah. That was I'm sorry, that was the final blow.
Yeah, she called
Coward.
him. He called her a fucking whore, and she said, "You're a coward."
That was rough.
Yeah. So Maggie did have the last, not laugh, but the last thing there. So this all comes to a head when we see the guys at the station, which was one of the great fight scenes
Awesome fight.
in a long time.
Did you read that they you heard that they turned on the Rocky theme?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk what happened first and we get to behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But like we get there. Obviously, he's doing his thing. He hears that Russ is in the parking lot. He takes off the rings. He takes off the gun. Thank God he could put
No
that
doubt.
away.
That's smart.
He's smart enough for that. But it's also back to that, like, we're gonna handle things like men. And he ran out there and tackled him like Lawrence. I don't know, like I don't know who. Like Lawrence Taylor.
I gotta say, I love the way they shot that scene because that was awesome. You could have shot it where he tackles him and then we see him on the ground, but we don't see that. We see them hit concrete.
Yeah.
That looked like it hurt so bad.
Matt McConaughey left his feet.
Oh, it was awesome.
So anyway, so that happens. So then when they get back in to settle it, they don't want to talk about it. Neither of them said nothing happened. It's not about it. They kept it to themselves, and they've done that for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
They just didn't speak.
Yeah.
And so now we see that's the story that they're both sticking to that story of like, so both, my guys interrogated them like, "Has nothing to do with the wife? What is this dust up with you guys?" Like, "No, I don't know. Nothing happened. I still like him." So that's cool that was just sort of a thing that happened between these two guys that they kept to themselves this entire time.
And that last moment where he says, "I quit. I'll send him my letter." Nice hook, Marty.
Yeah,
After that.
out the door.
Well, before that, he's like, that felt like the ultimate fall from grace for Hart, because he already said, like, what's wrong with all you people are corrupt, and what's wrong with, I forget the line he says when he leaves.
Like, fuck this world.
Fuck this
Again,
world.
it's Cohle though. You said Hart, but it's Cohle.
It's Cohle.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
He's the fuck this world. He's like completely disgusted with everyone. He gets suspended. He's trying to bring people to justice. For that, he gets suspended.
Yeah.
He's trying to keep his buddy's marriage together. For that, he gets seduced by his wife. He turns into one of those people. He then gets his ass kicked and he deserves it, and he gets then suspended. So it's like, yeah, fuck this. He quits.
Yeah, that's it. I'm out.
I don't doubt it. So go ahead. And
That's what I'm saying about Rust in general. He seems like he's outside of all of this, and so when all this is what it is, I always feel like Marty is all of us, and Cohle is like what we could be if we were untethered and on a mission. Marty is all of us with all of our fallacies, all of our hangups, all of our weaknesses. You know, when she calls him on the phone, Beth calls him on the phone and says, I want you to F me in the A. Like there's no doubt in any of our minds that he's going to do that because he's weak. He's going to give into that, even though he knows it's going to destroy his life. It has a potential to destroy his life.
I'd be much stronger than that. Actually.
Yes, Joe. I know you.
I could. So,
but I mean, anyway, I know we don't have much time.
No, we're done. We're actually out of time. But I do want to say we have that last. Go ahead, Nando.
I just want to say, yeah. I mean, what was great. I love that one shot of Cohle throwing Hart into his truck and hitting that tail light.
The tail light.
And like you said, you already set up the last shot. But what I thought was beautiful about that last shot was that it was never repaired.
Never repaired. Yeah,
and that was from 2002. So he's had that truck for 12 years. He's been holding on to that for 12 years, and here he is with it, still carrying it like a dent in his armor.
Right. Exactly.
So,
or like it was actually just personal to him too. Like he doesn't want to get that. This thing hasn't also signifying this hasn't been resolved.
Yeah.
You know, none of this has been resolved, so I'm not fixing anything.
Nothing
I'm not cutting
is
my hair.
solved.
I'm not
Nothing
fixing this.
Yeah.
That moment when that's resolved. One question before we get out of here on that. When he did it, when he approached the car, did Marty draw his gun?
Yeah, he checked to see if it. I don't know if he checked to see if it was loaded or
did he have his gun?
No, it was
drawn?
No, it was afterwards.
No.
Oh, it was afterwards. I'm
It was
sorry.
when he said, "You follow me. We're gonna go have a drink." And they came back and looked at the Cadillac. He goes, "You're gonna buy me a drink." Or he said, "I'll buy you a drink." Then he comes back and he says, "You're gonna buy me a drink." And then
Great
he
line.
checked his they checked his gun to make sure his gun was loaded.
Which was interesting. Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen. Which brings us to what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, because the other detectives have been putting all this stuff in his head.
Right, like
So now-
maybe he's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Maybe who knows what he's been doing.
Yeah,
so, but the thing is, like the thing that's true is, Hart is like, I know this guy, and Maggie's like, I know this guy, and I think that they're both right. I mean, I think that Cohle is Cohle, and he's going to be fine. And so the real Cohle will come out, and this is maybe where we can get into predictions
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
to find out what we think is going to happen next week. I know we saw some previews, but what do you think is going to happen, Julia?
I think we saw him in the previews. We saw Hart flipping out. I think it's going to have to do with his eldest daughter. I think his eldest daughter is going to be in the mix here somehow.
Oh, no.
That's what I think.
Nando.
I kind of like that. One thing I wanted to bring up earlier was the two guys that Hart was beating up. They had these black shirts on, and one of them had like an angel, which I thought was really interesting. So I'm almost wondering if it's that. I'm going to predict, though, you said that we're stuck in 2012. I still think we need to see what happens to Tuttle since he apparently died 2 years before. So I don't think the flashbacks are over. I think we're definitely going to see what happens to Tuttle.
Do we know what happened to McConaughey's daughter?
Yeah, car accident.
Car accident. Run over by a car.
Reliable
know
now.
who was
Reliable
running it.
now.
Run over by a car, right?
I thought it was a car accident. I don't know. I've been
Run
wrong
over
before.
by a
Run
car.
over by a car.
Are we satisfied with that?
No.
No.
Oh,
Right.
I've never been satisfied with that.
I think that the resolution, the beginning of the end of Cohle. I think this is that we know that's the beginning of the end of Cohle. I think we'll get that flashback. That's coming. I don't know if it's coming in episode 8 or 7, but that's coming. Flip over for you.
I was wrong about last week. I thought last week we were going to find out that all these guys were hunky dory in cahoots. This whole
We all thought that.
A little too
apparently.
neat.
That was a good prediction.
It's fun.
That was
not that
solid.
good.
That's what I call them predictions.
But
We'll call Nick about it.
Do you have one for this week?
I do. I think our guy in uniform. I don't know if you guys saw him. He was in the interrogation. In there with the major in that second scene in the office or third scene in the office, where after he'd gone and braced Tuttle. After he'd gone, I think that guy's going to wind up being, and I don't really know who he is. He was in uniform the first couple of episodes, and we never really saw much about him. I feel like he's going to be something about the super secret Christian task force. He's going to be
come back.
We're going to see some interesting stuff with him.
All right. Super secret Christian task force.
SSCT.
Well, that's it for us, man. Thank you, folks, for joining us for the last 42 minutes to discuss True Detective, episode 6.
Never enough.
We will be back next week to do episode 7 for all of our loyal. Wait, do you want to get some quick shout outs? Go, Nando, quick.
I don't have it set up.
Oh,
I have a couple
Go.
YouTube people. I have Flamethrower, Skylar somebody, John Reiners, Terry Pitnick, Christopher Reed, Stephen Reese, Rob Simon, Whole bunch of people. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much for
commenting.
downloading, commenting, listening. Thank you for making us
Just YouTube.
#1 show on AfterBuzz for all this time. Thank you for making us a number, anywhere from 2 to 10 on iTunes Top 300. We appreciate that. And that's all we got. Joe, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Twitters at Joe Flippo, JoeFlippo, and my website is josephsanfelippo.com.
Julia?
Find me on Twitter. My name, Julia Cearley, JuliaCearley. Same thing on Instagram, and then here at AfterBuzz with these jokers.
Nandeezy?
Lots of stuff.
You can, well, first of all, shout outs on iTunes to Johnston's, Hoo Hoo, and Bilbo Baggin.
Hoo Hoo?
And, Hoo Hoo, and Margin something. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Nandovel, Nandovel, and a couple of shows with these fine fellows.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Joe K. Braswell, along with shows with you guys as well.
Yeah. We got Hannibal coming up and Bates Motel coming up. And then
Bates
following
later
tonight.
Blacklist.
And Americans.
Lots.
Oh my God.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week.
Woo! From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.